You know what this book felt like? It felt like more like kind of like a mystery because I really wanted to know how the mom died and what secret was Libby, the
Was it
sister,
a heart attack?
keeping.
How did she die?
I didn't finish the book.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so.
Hey y'all, this is Danitza,
It's Jenica.
and we're from
One Page Away.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Welcome back to week 2.
This week we'll be reviewing the book Book Lovers by Emily Henry.
Yes, one of my favorite authors actually.
The wine we'll be drinking today is Cavit, and it's a Pinot Grigio. White wine, nice and bitter, just like the main character. Anyways,
welcome back to the podcast where we talk about books, either if you didn't want to read the book but just wanted to know what happened, or if you did read the book and you just want to hear us talk about juicy stuff that happens in the book.
Yes, so I highly encourage you read the book beforehand because major spoiler alert. If not, then that's fine too. Come listen.
We're still going to talk about
it. It's a good time. All right, so let's start off by just a quick summary of the book. So basically, it's this girl. Her name is Nora Stevens, and she is not really a small time type of a small town type of girl. She is completely in love with the city.
Her mom, love with New York. Yes. A New Yorker, truly from heart. She's very bougie.
She is. She goes to the countryside, basically the small town, little country, and she wears heels, walking up a steep hill just to get to this little cottage that they rent out. It's her and her sister that decide that they're going to, her sister mainly, convinces her to go on this big trip where they are a little estranged in comparison to how they were before, which is attached by the hip. And so they come up with this, I want to say list, this overall bucket list of things to do while in this little small town. And they try to kind of knock each and every one out before I think it's about a month. They spend a month there, right?
Yeah.
And of course, they get to the small town, and everything happens in this small little town that changes Nora's life upside down.
Okay, so we have to get back to the beginning because the way that she describes herself in the first chapter is actually so negative and so different from the way that she described, I'm talking about the author, Emily Henry, describes her other characters in the first chapter. She describes Nora describes herself as the girl who always gets left behind by the boyfriend, who falls in love with a small town girl. She's always the girlfriend in New York who the boyfriend leaves for the small town girl. And that actually happens to her in the first chapter. And then in the first chapter, that's also where we meet Charlie, her love interest.
Yeah.
And Charlie is the boy version of Nora.
Let's start off by saying that they're both in publishing.
Yeah, they both work with books.
So he's an editor and she is an agent.
Yes.
And throughout the entire story, you'll hear about her basically talking to her author that she is kind of working with throughout the entire time. And her name is Dusty. And they visit the small town, which is really important, that Dusty writes about in one of her books. And that was the inspiration for the younger sister, the one that she goes on the trip with, so that they can go to that place and basically fall in love and do all the things that Dusty talks about in her book.
Do all the things that small town romance books have. Fall in love with a, what they call? Like a lumberjack.
Lumberjack, yeah.
Like for a lumberjack, leave the city, move to the small town, have multiple babies. That type of romance book. That's what they were planning on. Well, that's what Libby, Nora's sister, was planning on having her sister Nora do.
At first, I thought that maybe this was the story that, I mean, obviously Nora gets her happy ending. I knew that the story was headed that way, but like, I thought maybe she would learn to enjoy like the small time living.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what her sister wanted her to do.
Yeah, I thought she would end up falling in love with everything and everyone. But it seemed like the more and more you read the book, the more and more she just wanted to go home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like she definitely falls in love with Charlie. Ever since their first encounter, I was like, oh yeah, this is the guy.
This is the guy.
This is the guy.
This is the guy.
She's gonna fall in love with.
And let's not forget that Charlie is from the small town that they're visiting.
Yes.
He was born and raised there.
His entire family is basically there. And so when she sees him in the small town, she's shocked. She's like, what the hell is he doing here?
And the way that she tries to like make sure it's him, and when she first sees him in the store, she's like, this can't be him. So she, you know what she does? She emails him about some
Bigfoot erotica. Okay? No, that
part was just like,
that part really had me
is that
too.
what you're gonna choose to make sure it's him?
Literally, she emails him, and then because she's like, okay, so he keeps stepping out of line because they're in this coffee shop, and then because she's just first now exploring the town, and so when she emails him, he steps out of the line, and then he's like focused and trying to like email her back, and she's like, that can't be him, and she's already described him like, oh, this guy is sexy, wow. And
she did. And then mind you, she's like right behind him too.
Yeah.
Like she's like
a couple of people behind him.
Yeah, a couple of people where she's like going in and out of lines like, is that him? That's not him. But let me make sure it is him. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I loved their email banter. Even though like in real, like when they were talking face to face, they were kind of like both stoic, both like kind of like guarded. But like once they started emailing each other, like they kind of let loose. They kind of started like flirting, but not flirting. You know what I'm saying? Like they had like that flirty vibe in the emails and stuff like that, which is a total, you know, reference to like 50 Shades when they started emailing each other and started flirting with each other. I love that part. Like the banter was top tier in this book.
I did enjoy it as well. I think that was probably my favorite part of the book, only because like overall, well, first, can I say this book took me so long to read.
This book, okay, so I did a combo of audiobook and actually like reading the book, and I do have to say it did take me a whole like more than a week to finish the book, honestly.
And it's not that we're slow at reading. Like the other book that we did, listen, 900 and something pages. I started Monday, I finished Thursday, period. This book, 400 something pages, like I felt like it wasn't inviting me enough. Like I read it and I finished it. She actually didn't finish it.
This is actually gonna be on my DNF list of this month. Mine did not finish. And I'm very, very disappointed that I didn't finish because I loved her other book, Beach Read. Huge fan of Beach Read. Let us know if you guys want us to do an episode about Beach Read, actually, because I'll be happily to do that. But yeah, I just wasn't in love with this book as much as I was in love with her other two books that I've read. I've read Beach Read. I've read People We've Met on Vacation. And this book was just not
doing what it was supposed to do.
Doing what it was supposed to do like the other two
Honestly,
did.
I personally didn't read any of her other books yet. I heard so much about the other ones, but I don't know. This one, I didn't really enjoy it. Like, I give it a 6 out of 10, and that's me being generous.
No, but the reason why I would say this book just wasn't the right fit for me, honestly, like it's not my top book honestly of this month, because it just like there was a lot going on in her head. It was more like to me it wasn't like a romance book necessarily. It was more like a getting over like a grieving book, you know, because she was still kind of grieving over her mom.
Yeah.
It was more like how she was more like, I don't know, it just wasn't, to me, like there wasn't enough romance for me to consider it a romance book. Even though like Charlie was there most of the time, like, you know what I'm saying, but more, it was mostly like reconnecting with her sister, worried about her sister, still thinking about her mom, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't more like,
For me, I didn't have a problem with that. Like, I mean, I didn't mind it, and what she's saying is absolutely correct. Like, it is, I did feel like it wasn't more of a romance. And she did have like a little stint with his cousin Shepard, and I mean, that was uneventful. It was, but like, I felt like there was just too many words. Like, let me know if that makes sense, because when I'm reading a book, and like I said, 900 pages, no problem, but the way she was overly describing everything, it just didn't work for me. Like, I felt like it just kept going on and on and on.
you know what this book felt like? It felt like more like kind of like a mystery, because I really wanted to know how the mom died and what secret was Libby, the
Wasn't it a
sister,
heart
keeping.
attack? Why did she die?
I didn't finish the book.
Oh yeah.
So I'm still like,
I know that Nora, the reason why she blames herself so much and she takes so much responsibility of like her sister and like her sister's life, like she
guys,
controls
she's
it.
so protective of Libby.
Yeah.
It's so kind of like
Obsessive, just a little bit.
Yeah, because she was saying how like she loved her sister's smell, like something about her
like these
smell.
are not things that I would describe
as someone who has a sister.
Exactly. I have my own sister, and like I'm not gonna be like, yeah, like she's the way she smells, like I know it's her. And people, I can understand that part, but like I wouldn't describe it like she did.
But that's where I'm saying like the whole book is about her dealing with like her grief over her mom, because
she wasn't there when her mom died.
Yeah, she wasn't there when her mom died. She left Libby to kind of like handle the whole situation. Well, this is what Danitza told me about the book, because I did not finish the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she just feels she wants to be close with Libby again, because she feels like that's the only connection she has left
to her mom. Besides New York, because she also talks about her love for New York, and you're almost seeing it through the mom's eyes. Even though that the mom passed away, she is talking about that love so greatly, and that's the picture that her mom basically casted upon her when she was younger.
And the way that Nora describes her childhood with her mom and Libby is like a
different
fantasy.
It's also completely different than how Libby sees it.
Yeah, Nora sees the good, the funny, the even though they were like poor, like the mom made the best of it.
Yeah, like all the fun times that they had. But Libby's like, I remember that time that we couldn't eat, or mom stole this off of a rack just to get it for me.
Or the
like,
mom just started crying in the store and stuff. Like, yeah, that's the part that I was like, okay, she's still not over her mom's death.
Yeah.
And her, like, she would have like these nightmares where like she would wake up in a cold sweat,
she did,
asking for like, oh, is her sister okay? Like, oh, mom's dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm like, okay, there's not enough romance. There's not enough her working on herself to be able to love Charlie to the full extent, if that makes sense.
And it wasn't until the end that she finally decided to choose herself, because her lifelong dream was to become an editor, and she got offered Charlie's position, because he decided that he was going to stay in his hometown to take care of his father, who was ill. So that happened, and she finally decided, you know what, I'm going to do this for myself, even though it hurts. And everybody's encouraging her to do so. And you're probably wondering, if you didn't read the book, well, how did she get, her happy ending? And she moved back to the city, and Charlie over here is still in the small town.
The small town.
Well, Libby actually moved to the small town, and her husband had been planning this forever. and they get really close with Charlie's family, and she takes over their bookshop because on their list it was save a local family business, and essentially she did that. She did save their family business, generating more sales than they had in the past. Like I think they said like 8 or 6 years. So that allowed Charlie to be able to be okay after everybody, his father, his mother, and Libby, and everybody else, and her husband said that, you know what, like, go to New York, be with Nora, and that's when he decides to propose to her and such, and then we get an epilogue like 6 months later or something, and they're basically getting married, and everything comes together in the end, which wasn't bad. But...
Okay, I want to justify why I didn't finish the book. I'm not.
Explain.
Okay,
yourself.
so like I'm not that far out where like it's gonna take me forever to finish the book. I think 10 chapters left into finishing the book, and I'm at the part that I'm at. She still doesn't know that she wants to be with Charlie.
Which part?
I'm at the part where the sister basically compares Nora to their mom, and Nora gets upset.
Oh, when they had their big fight.
When they had their big fight, yes.
Did you get to the part where Nora basically gets the phone number, and she thought it was for a divorce attorney?
No. Okay. I'm gonna tell you exactly where. I'm at the part where Charlie tells Nora that his dad isn't his birth father.
Oh.
That's exactly where I'm at.
Okay. Is it in his room?
Yes, in his room.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
That's exactly
right.
where I'm like, I want them to get together now. I want them to figure it out. I want them to honestly be together. Because I feel like at this point, like in her other books, they're together, but something is always
keeping them apart. That's like romance, like formula. It's like, oh, I love him, I love her.
Yeah,
they want to be together. We can't because of this problem, and then magically, oh, we've risen past all of our problems and found ourselves, and now we can be together.
But at this point in the book, she still doesn't know if she wants to be with Charlie.
She makes the decision. Like, she finds out, she wants to be with Charlie. Now, a couple of chapters after, she shares with him. She cries for the first time with him.
Okay.
Because in the book, she made it, Emily, Emily made it known early on that Nora never cries. Like, though, she only cried once. Right? Or am I tripping?
When her mom died.
She only cried once when her mom died, and ever since then she hasn't cried not once. And this is years and years later. Like, they're grown.
Yeah, so I just think the book wasn't just.
Yeah, there were some cute moments. Like, I when I was reading it, I was like, oh, like, this is cute. Okay, like, this is nice. The Bigfoot erotica, I thought that was funny.
I thought that was so funny. I love that. I love the whole email banter. Yeah, that was the best part.
One thing that I did kind of want to touch upon, and I actually really like this, it was when Nora, and when she was ranting in her head, she talks about her mom's theory. And basically, like, I have it pulled up here. It says that her mom's theory was that youthful skin would make a woman more money, good underwear would make her more confident, and good books would make her happy. So I thought, like, I really like that, because it's true. Like, what's more confident than having, like, sexy underwear underneath, and you're just going about your day and you're like, wow, I'm wearing this for me and I feel good.
Yeah.
Like, I feel sexy and nobody knows this but me,
Agreed.
Like, in terms of, like, the youthful skin, like, it's true. Like, once you feel good, you have your you have your regular, like, routine set in terms of, like, you're gonna wash your face, you're gonna pamper yourself. When you're pampered, like, when you pamper yourself, you feel good. Like, nobody's going to a spa, coming out of the spa and say, oh, like,
I feel so ugly about myself.
I feel so like, ugh, no. I'm gonna go to the spa and be like, wow, like that was great. I feel amazing. So like, I really like that, and I highlighted it because I was like, this is nice, and books make me happy. So if you're not a book lover,
Libby,
the book, you get it, book lover.
That was so corny. Libby, Nora's sister, loves reading about small town romances, and I thought that's so funny because Nora in the beginning, she was like talking about how much she hates them, she can't stand them.
It's because, remember, she said that she felt as if she was a villain in all of her romantic relationships, because she was the one that was always getting left.
And the boyfriend that left her in the first chapter basically told, like, he actually did tell Nora that she doesn't have feelings.
For real, like, who does that?
Basically called her a monster over the phone.
What would you do? Somebody's like, you don't, honestly, I don't think you have feelings. Like, what? Excuse me? Am I on, what is am I following somebody down the yellow brick road?
Yo,
like, what?
I just was like, what the? I was like, what does he mean she doesn't have feelings? I was expecting her, like, because she does have feelings, because the book is so, like, in Nora's head, so we see more of, like, what's inside Nora. Like, she does have feelings. She goes back and forth in her head. It's like she doesn't show that on the outside. She's very, like, I have to pull myself together. I can't let them see me this way. Like, I can't let them see me be bothered, like, by this. Like, for instance, when she found out that Dusty was writing the book
about Nadine Winters,
which is very, very.
It's basically, no, let's be real. It's
basically about Nora.
It's about a shark, not a shark, not an actual shark, but like a woman who is considered a shark. And guess what they call Nora? They call her a shark because her agenting skills are on point, and she does right by her clients.
Done,
exactly.
Okay.
She does. She is a successful businesswoman, and she's strong-willed and she's strong-hearted. And Nadine Winters, the character that Dusty writes about, is just like that.
But a little bit more emotionalist, like
like a little bit more hard.
Yeah, like, a little bit more hardcore, like firing a pregnant
woman.
A pregnant woman.
A pregnant woman. Like, whoa.
And Nora, in her head, made it very, very clear that she would never do that.
So it's just, I mean, she compares herself to Nadine Winters all the time. So throughout the book, you'll see her early on. As soon as she finds out, and she's actually with Charlie, and she's like, I'm not like this person. And he reads it. He's like, wow, like, this is kind of like you.
Yeah.
But he doesn't mean it in a harsh way. He means it like in an admiring way, because he admires her work and her work ethic.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that, like, as soon as she found out, she was kind of like freaking out. But like, you would only know that when you read the book. But like, seeing her face to face, you wouldn't know that she was freaking out about.
Because she's very composed.
Yeah, she's very composed. Yeah, that's what I loved and hate about her. Honestly, like, she's very composed, and I feel like Charlie wanted to know her feelings towards him at some point.
Yes and no, but like, think about it. Her and Charlie were like on and off, like hot and cold. Mind you, you see how I barely mentioned Shepard? That's how uneventful it was, guys, for Shepard.
It was like,
he was a small little blip.
It was like one
little story.
It was like one scene, Charlie catches Shepard and Nora like going out or something like that, and he gets like you know,
that's it.
Like,
and he's too good for her. Like, he's too nice. He's too
just
like
a little jealous scene.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, this Charlie is just like Nora. He's the man version of her. So in a way, he understands. Because she even says it multiple times throughout the book, like, this guy is just like me. So she's able to read him like a book, and vice versa.
No, but I also did love how this book was more like they're the exact same person. There's like, To me, it was basically saying there's nothing
Ooh.
stopping them from being together.
It's true. A lot of books that I see are like opposites
Opposite
attract.
attract.
Yes. This is like showing, you know, two people who are the same can come together and be good.
Like other small town romance books where like it's a city boy meets like a small town girl, total opposites.
Exactly.
They come together, fall in love.
Exactly.
But this book, no, they're the two same pieces of cloth, come from New York. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that they end up together.
Yeah.
I mean,
same.
yeah,
I'm
glad
they ended up together
I'm glad
too,
they ended
because
up together.
like I feel like she really needed somebody. Like this girl, like damn. Sis.
I feel like she needed somebody who was going to root for her either way, because I feel like Charlie was always on her side. Like Charlie,
even when she didn't even know it.
Yeah, even when she didn't even know it, Charlie was just always in the background rooting for her, no matter what. I love that about the relationship.
Me too.
But yeah, guys. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go back and finish the book just to see.
Are you really?
Yeah, and we need to talk about. There was barely any sex scenes. I'm gonna say it. From at least where I stopped reading at, there was a little tease.
Did you see the one about the rock? When they were on the rock?
Where they were skinny dipping?
Yeah, when they were skinny dipping.
That's the tease that she's talking about.
They had a couple of encounters, like when they were at the bar.
It's a tease.
All right.
It's a tease, honestly.
Okay. Like when they were at the bar. And then he walks her home, carries her on her back because, you know, of course she's wearing heels and it's muddy and it's raining outside. And she has to walk up a hill. And then he, like, you know, they have this moment and he stops himself. He's like, no, we can't do this. Again, they're both the same. So what happens? You can't date a colleague. They're not, like, they're working together. They said that they can't do this because of that. I feel like that tension and that push and pull kind of played a part into us not seeing any, like, crazy, like hot to handle,
hot and steamy
scenes. Exactly.
And so, for those who have read Emily Henry's other book, Beach Read, you would know the type of, you know, steamy scenes that I was expecting, kind of. But I obviously didn't reach that far to be able to read a sex scene in the book. But
yeah, I mean, it's not like they they had maybe like 2 other sex scenes past, like, where you read, like, when they actually got together.
Okay.
So, I think so. I don't know. I don't remember.
But, yeah, the steaminess for me is definitely a 2 out of 4. No, 2 out of... Let's say a 2 out of 5. But I feel like when there's, like, a hot, steamy scene, it's so worth it to see the characters. Now, I'm not saying that like that's the only important thing. Like, I love them getting together.
It does add to it.
Being together, it does add to the story. It does add to the relationship, and it does add to
just like sex adds to any normal relationship.
Attractiveness
like,
towards each other. Yeah. But
so, like, for me, like, I feel like when the characters truly deserve it. Like, you know, when you're watching a movie or, like, you're reading a really good book and the characters have gone through so much, like, and it's just like, yo, like, this needs to happen. And it's their it's their craziest moment. Like, I feel like the tension build up wasn't there for me. And I feel like it's because she was so into her head and everything was so overly described. It wasn't like, whoa, like, this is intense.
I feel like the 3 main things that she was honestly focusing so much during her whole time in the small town was her sister, her mom, and money.
You think money?
Yeah, because I feel like she was so worried about the sister's money issues.
Yeah, but I mean, that all rounds up into the sister.
Yeah, it does round up to the sister. And it also does kind of ends the cycle of the mom too, because like she explains in the book about how like they never had money growing up, but like the father that she never really knew has money, but like they never had money because he's not in their life, and now she's making the money that she always wished the mom had, and now her
she's
sisters,
living the life the mom wanted to live.
Yeah, she's honestly living the life the mom wanted to live, excluding being an actress.
Yo,
right. But like back to what I was saying about like now Libby is who has all these kids, who's pregnant, who has a husband, is having financial issues. She wants to jump out her skin and help her sister so badly, but her sister's like, no, I'm a grown woman. Let me do it myself.
Exactly. She's like, you've always been in my corner, and it's like it's almost suffocating her because she's there too much. Like she doesn't know how to live without her sister, and that's something they both learn in the end.
But I'm so glad the sister kind of like planned the whole trip to make it seem like kind of ease her into like I'm gonna this is gonna be my home now.
Yeah, I'm moving.
Cause Nora was like
she felt like it was a betrayal though. Like they had a big fight over that because she decided like she was like, oh, like I'm gonna move, and she was like, okay, did you guys get a house? Because she's showing her house, and she's like, did you already put your deposit down in this house? And Nora was shook because she was like, how come I didn't know anything about it?
But Nora was also going behind her sister's back, looking at places. She was saying how she was talking to Charlie.
Their bet that they had,
She basically made a bet for like with Charlie about letting Libby and her husband and her kids
stay in his New York apartment.
In his New York apartment. What was the bet about?
I forget. I feel like it
wasn't as important in the story, but like there was a bet.
It was part of like her list or something like that. Like he was like making fun of her list.
Yeah.
They decided to do a bet about it.
Yeah, but like Nora would do like sneaky stuff, like try to figure out like why her like Libby and her husband wasn't talking, or why Libby wasn't trying to talk to her husband's name was Brendan.
Yeah, like she thought that they were getting a divorce because she finds a number that Charlie's mom gives to Nora, saying, "Hey, give this to your sister," and I think it was Charlie's mom, but she gets the number, she calls it, and it's an attorney office, and turns out she just wanted to ask about the schools because that was a friend of theirs. So everything kind of just blew up, and she's like, oh, you guys are getting a divorce. You're not telling me about your problems with your husband. When that wasn't the case at all.
Yeah, that was not the case. I feel like if Nora wasn't so like their mom, Libby would have been more comfortable in telling her like.
Well, you don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember because I didn't finish reading the book.
But she says like I don't want you to be like my mother anymore. I want you to be my sister. If I remember correctly, she said that. That's the feeling that I was getting. Yeah,
because Libby did compare Nora to their mom, and I feel like
because she had to be a mom to her for a very long time. Nora was taking care of her.
Yeah, like we said, Nora just remembers the good things about their mom, but Libby remembers the more realistic and troubled times with the mom, and I feel like that's why she couldn't really tell
her about her dream.
Yeah. And
vice versa. Like Libby couldn't really tell Nora certain things, and Nora was holding things back, thinking she was protecting her sister, when in reality, like, she was kind of hurting her.
And throughout the whole book, Nora was just like, she doesn't understand why they drifted apart. Like, she hopes this trip brings them back together.
She didn't know why the distance was there.
She didn't know why there was distance when they grew up so close. They were so close.
Yeah.
But then something automatically just, like, happened to make them not close anymore.
It was honestly just some distance. It was just, I mean, she started keeping secrets from Nora because, she didn't want her to handle everything. And most of her secrets that Libby had was, like, we're having a little bit of money problems. Like, the other baby's coming, like, we're trying to figure out what we're doing. And she didn't want her to handle that.
Yeah. I feel like that's, because remember what Libby was saying about the mom, like, if the mom, like, found out about bad news, like, it was just a bad reaction. And I feel like since she compared Libby to the mom, she just didn't want that bad reaction from Nora.
No, I feel you.
But guys, let us know what you guys think down in the comments wherever.
Yeah. I'd like to know what you thought of this book. Because, I mean, even though it's getting a 6 out of 10 rating, that doesn't mean that it's a bad book. I read it throughout and I finished it. I did enjoy certain parts of it. Like I said, Charlie and Nora, I enjoyed their conversations. I thought it was funny.
Their banter is so cute.
Yeah, like, I really liked it. So it's not like I didn't enjoy the book. Was it my favorite? No, it was just I don't know. Like I feel like I gotta read it again, maybe in like a year, and see how I feel about it.
I feel like maybe if I read it like again from start to finish this time, I feel like I'm gonna fall in love with it. Yeah. But yeah, guys, let us know what you guys honestly think about the book. And for those who didn't read the book but still listened, please go read the book and go see the points that we made, and let us know what you thought after reading the book and after listening to us.
Facts. And also, if you are new to this or if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're viewing from YouTube or a video platform, if you're on a podcast platform, go ahead and share and leave us a review, leave us some comments. Go follow us on social media. We're at One Page Away Podcast. And, you know, pick up the wine and read the book.
And leave us some book recommendations.
Yes.
We might pick up one of those books.
Yeah, absolutely.
And please make it a book that we might enjoy. Please.
What? Yeah. Listen, we are up for recommendations, no problem at all. And we're up for some wine recommendations as well.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely comment down below, please, guys, please.
All right, and
that's it for this episode of One Page Away.
All right, this is One Page Away signing out.